Alrighty. We'll see what's going on here. I think it should be in a good spot. Okay. Oh, I have a piece of gum. I think I gotta spit my gum out somewhere. I know you guys are gonna be hearing all my gum. Alright. Green on. Hello, everybody. It's the Wednesdays, and guess what we did not do this morning? We did not throw at 6 a.m. So, as a punishment to myself, now I have to throw really late at night so I can still keep on my deadline of throwing every day. So I'm going to get over there and I'm going to start it. I'm going to be kind of quick, so I might not be interacting with the comments as much. I'll try my best, but I really just need to get a lot of this stuff done. I need to go to sleep. I got to wake up really early tomorrow to go mix some glazes. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get right into it. Green off. I also have some like classical music going on. This playlist is like, if I was like a villain or something like that. That's the playlist. Something about being a villain in a classical thing. I don't know, classical music thingy. Let's get everything all set up here. Yep. Okay. So I'm taking this down. I might turn this up just a tad. You know, just enough where I can hear it in the inner monologue of my head. Okay. Pushing this into the center. This clay is really soft, so we might not be able to get the height that we're normally used to. But anyway, it's going to be really fun to throw with and center, right? And so there you go. Center that clay. Right to the bottom. Come on. There we go. Right where it's starting to rip. Slowly bring that down. And right back up. And right back down. And so you can see when the clay is so soft, it just is going to do whatever you say, right? But what do we sacrifice because of that? We sacrifice height. We sacrifice the ability to feel like we're carving in the clay. And so that's something I'm not a big fan of when it comes to throwing with soft clay. Everybody loves it. Everybody's gangbusters about throwing with soft clay. But let me tell you, throw with some hard clay, get through that thing, the centering part of it, right? And then just start throwing with it and you'll understand what I mean, right? It doesn't feel like you're throwing anymore. It feels like you're carving objects on the wheel. It's a totally different atmosphere. Anyway, so we're doing a little llama pole, little knuckle. I'm slowly pulling this up. Camera B. So you guys can get a little bit up close with me here. Right to the bottom, I'm collaring this in ever so slightly. I went too fast on the collar, so I created some grooves, and so I just want to even out those grooves. Move them to the side here. We got our nice cylinder here. We're going to take out some of this water. And so you can already see it's not that we don't have that height we like. And I would, realistically, if the clay was harder, I have one more pull. But since the clay is soft, if I was to go any taller, it's not going to be able to withstand the weight on the top of it when I start to collapse. And so, again, it's a part of the limitations of throwing with soft clay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that, nice 6. You can see when the clay is really soft, it just really wants to just pop out really quickly. It just listens to you, right? But again, it's like, imagine, soft clay is like this. Imagine, you have a friend who you just love talking to, right? But the conversations, are always the exact same thing, right? And so it's fun to have them around, right? But you don't gain anything meaningful from those conversations, right? That's how I feel like soft clay is like, I feel like, oh, it's fun, I'm having a good time with the soft clay, right? But I don't feel I don't feel glory when I'm throwing with soft clay. Like when I'm throwing with hard clay, I feel like when I win, I feel like I get some sense of some glory in there, right? Pinky out right on this edge. Some water, get some of that water out of there. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Emphasize, 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 emphasize. Right down to the bottom, carve this off. Nothing special at all about this pot. Just a very mundane, easy pot here. Camera A. So we're going to go over to number 2. Again, we're trying to cruise. I'll check the comments if anybody... No comments? Great. Oh, wait. Somebody said, what are you making? I'm making trees. Somebody said? Who said that? Saint Space, I'm making trees. Well, whatever it is, looks cool. Yeah, I'm making a bunch of these trees. I make all sorts of these sort of tree forms. I'll show you. For example, this is one of the other ones I made. And so they're like these little swirly trees. They're supposed to be a sort of symbol of this idea of an anti-pot, right? A lot of pottery has very wide bellies and narrow rims, right? These trees are the exact opposite. They're twisted, they're squeezed, and they open up on the top. And so, in my mind, they're doing a very different thing than just normal pots. Oh, dope. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, yo. That's very nice of you. All right, I'm gonna get cruising right on the second one. Add a little bit of water right on this bottom. I'm gonna take these. I'm making a project right now where I throw every single day. I'm pretty close to a year now. I'm making 1,000 of these things, so that's my goal. I've been cruising on them. So, all right, here we go. Pushing this down. I think there's one more comment here. Let me check that out before I start. Anti-pottery. Love it. Thanks. How many do you think you've made so far? I've made 750. I just finished 758, right? And I probably made a few bonus of them. Here, I can show you guys something. And strong mentality. So that's one of the rooms. I filled another room as well. So I have 2 full entire rooms full of those things. So I have quite a few of them. I think somebody messaged. All right, I gotta sit down and make after. Holy cow, another room. Yeah, I mean, I keep making. You know, I'm not stopping until I win. That's my, that's the mentality of it, right? I just think that, like, I think there's quite a few people that do like these, like day 7 of doing push-ups every day until I get 1 million followers and all this other stuff. And I think, like, those people, there's a lot of people who do that and they're not actually like doing the thing. And so I thought, how cool would it be if I just do it and I don't label, like, every single video, I don't just label it as, hey guys, I'm making a pot every single day for a year. Like, even though that's what I'm doing, I think it's a little bit cringe, if that makes sense, right? Like, people are trying to do it as like this hustle thing, right? Where they're not really trying to embed themselves in the mentality of doing it every day. Like, I think if you're really doing it every day, you just get it done. Like, it's just like putting gas in the tank, you just get it done. So for me, that's kind of what I think my pottery realm is. Sometimes I even think I'm not really a potter, I'm a thrower. I just like throwing on the wheel here. I see that you're commenting. Let me finish this one and then I'll respond to your comments after. Is that okay? I'll kind of fly through this one because I need to go to bed here anyway, but I need to throw every day. So that's my punishment for not doing it this morning. Again, right down to the bottom. Take my knuckle and I'm just bringing this up. Collar this up just ever so slightly. Going right back down to the bottom. And we probably got one more knuckle pull, if I'm being honest. One more knuckle right on this bottom. Find that bump. You just take that bump up. And so the knuckle pull is really just for equalizing the clay. Camera B. Camera B. Thank you. This finger pull where I get this bump, you always got to thank the clay for the bump. And we're saying, okay, clay, thank you for the opportunity to have this journey up to the top of the vessel here. Right? And so you can imagine there's like a little slug crawling up the side of the pot, right, to get his next meal, right? That's really what I'm thinking about when I'm doing these sort of things. I could collar this and even it out one more time. And so I'm going to start the base off with a nice small collar. Get about halfway up, switch my hand position, and then I take up the rest of this collar. As I'm going there, I'm going to speed up ever so slightly. Curl that top over, right back down to the bottom here. And this pull here is not much of a actual pull, it's more of a equalizing pull just to realign all this clay. Right? And so when I go this tall though, I'm a little bit too thin. So you'll see, chances are this tree is going to collapse in a weird way. Right? But when the clay is pretty hard, I can go to the pretty extreme with it and it's not going to like really mess up. So here we go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get those kind of even on the top. Spin it down ever so slightly. I'm going to go wide. Spread those fingers out. Hold it there for a second. A little bit of water. It's going to start collapsing on one side. That's okay. Putting this on the bottom. And before it rips off, chances are usually these ones, they get too much water and they start to rip off. So you want to finish the bottom beforehand. Sometimes they rip off completely and it almost looks like they're looking at you, right? I don't mind when they do this sort of stuff. Sometimes the whole entire tree falls over. Sometimes they rip in half and it almost looks like a tree trunk. And so there's a lot of moments that end up becoming, like, to the most would be like a failure, right? But for me, I've started to learn that a lot of these pots that I'm making, they're not a single song. There is a group as an album, right? And so you gotta have some of these more wacky pots for the whole album to really make sense. And so that's really kind of my approach for a lot of these. I have these tendrils, and so I'm gonna swoop these up. So again, swoop these up. Again, swoop these up. And the key for these bottom swoops is you really want to let them rest naturally where they want. If you contort them a little bit too much, they look unnatural. You almost want them to look like they're growing out of the pot here. This one's a little bit unnatural. And so, again, this pot it's pretty mundane. It's not doing nothing too crazy. I think recently I had a bunch of hard clay, so I was getting some pretty extreme pots. So I was really vibing with it. So this one, you'll see probably at the end, that might tear all the way down. And I'll look at the comments here again. Oh, wow. Okay. How long have you been doing pottery? I've been touching clay for 6 years, but I've been really throwing, like seriously throwing, for maybe 3.5 years, almost 4 years. That's when I started taking it seriously. And then, so some people are commenting a lot in the YouTube section. So, holy cow, voice sounds like Michael J. Fox. It does, doesn't it? That's interesting. I think that's a good mentality to have, dude. Thank you. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of DeLorean? I don't really know. Shroom, mushroom? Yeah, they kind of do look like mushrooms. I work at a library. I think we should have a pottery reel for out stream space area. I gotta go, but love seeing your work, dude. For our... Oh, thank you so much, Saint Space. I know you're already gone, but I appreciate it. And Joe Cuttingham. I don't really know who Michael J. Fox is. I'm assuming that's an actor or a singer. And something about the, wait a minute, Doc, you tell me, I'm assuming that's a, where are you based? Well, right now I'm in Michigan, but I do not plan on staying here very long. Why is the whole entire camera just a dude in, oh, I see, I don't have the pot on the wheel. I was just looking at the red guy, and I was like, wait, what the heck's going on? But yeah, right now, my goal is to go to Ohio and then buy a barn and just be out there, live stream, make my pots, have a couple different YouTube channels, and hopefully make enough to just make as many pots as I can. So right now I'm just streaming and make videos until eventually that stuff starts working out for me, right? I teach at a couple different places right now. I like teaching is fun, but it's not what I see myself doing in the long run, you know? So that's kind of my vibe. What about the clay? It is a personal formula? No, I'm in Ohio, lots of barns here. Yeah, Ohio is literally the best. I love Ohio. I know not a lot of Ohio people say that, but I'm going to get something in southern Ohio, like east of Cincinnati or something, and I'll just be out there doing it. So what about the clay? Is it a personal formula? No, this stuff, I get this from a company called Runyon Pottery Supply. They're very nice people. The guy who made it, or who made the place, his name is Paul Runyon. And Paul Runyon, you know, he's not really a ceramicist at all. He's an engineer, I believe. And his wife wanted to start a little ceramic business. And so he said, bet, and then made a whole entire clay mixing machine that's gravity fed and sucks all the clay dust and then just pugs out just big solid bricks. It's quite an amazing machine, actually. And so he designed and made that. And he left a while ago, but every once in a while he comes in to reformulate the clay body, right, to fit the commercial glazes and stuff, right? And so, you know, I don't mix the clay myself, no, but I do get it from a place where I know how it's mixed, I guess, right? And bring that down. right down to the bottom here. Then we're going to bring out the hammer fist right over top. Bring that down. And there's a couple more comments, and then really, guys, I gotta finish this one. Oh wait, no more comments. Sweet. Oh wait, somebody said thanks. Yeah, of course, yo. I love answering questions. You know what I mean? Hopefully, one of these days, I'll be able to get another monitor, so I don't have to get up off my wheel to look at it. But yeah, if you ever in like the Midwest, Runyons, they're pretty nice people, and they do a lot of they source a lot of clay for most of the Midwest. Obviously, there's Laguna clay in Ohio, kind of east of Columbus, right? There's also Rovin Pottery Supply, I think, and that's kind of still in Michigan area. There's some place called Clay Works that I think is kind of in the Midwest somewhere. There's a couple different places, but yeah, Runyon, they're just really nice people, you know. All right, anyway, right down to the bottom. And this particular clay is called the red-brown clay. And it's a stoneware. It has a little bit more grog than some of their other stuff, but not very much, right? So you can't tell, but it gives you just enough structure. And when the clay gets hard, it really feels like you're carving the pots. It doesn't feel like you're throwing. And so that's the quality that I like about it. Right now, it's a little bit too soft. Sometimes when I get it, it's more like peanut buttery, and I'm not a big fan of that, so I let things dry for a couple hours before I throw with it. But this stuff, you know, I didn't really have the time to do that. So again, we're doing some knuckle pulls to realign that clay on the bottom. Okay. So what's up with this top? Why is it acting all funky? Did I throw it off, or is there an air bubble? Can't really tell. We'll find out on this next pull, though. Go to the bottom of the clay. Say, hey, Clay, it looks so great today, Clay. Do you have an offering for me? An offering? No, but I have a mission for you. Oh, yeah? What's the mission? I want you to take this chunk, this little bump, all the way up the side of the pot, and right to the tippy top of the rim. And I need to be released into the ether of space and time. We say, of course, Clay. We can do that for you, bro. You gotta have a conversation with your clay, right? You can't, you know, right now I'm wearing my crown, right? You really gotta have, you know, oh, I got some clay in my hair. Can you guys see my crown? Maybe you can't. I don't know. But you gotta have some crown energy, right? Like, you gotta come to the clay not thinking that you're gonna fail, right? You gotta come to the clay like you're offering it your essence and your power, and you're imbuing it with that, right? You're baking your life and your experience and your body into the sides of the pots here, right? Like as you do this pull on the bottom here, right? You'll see if I go a little bit slower, right? I'll bring this up. You'll see the little lines that are forming. And also, do you see how, look, if you guys can see my elbow, I'm projecting my elbow across. Also, I'm getting a little bit dry. This edge here. There we go. Nice little cylinder here, right? But you're imbuing it with those lines. A lot of potters, they'll just take a tool and they'll smooth out all those lines, right? I really want those things to be heightened. I think when I start doing these little tendrils, these veins, they add some more like power to these because they're no longer just memory, but they also become a surface for the bark of these trees, right? And so I feel like sometimes I'm highlighting my experience and my energy into the clay. I know it sounds kind of hippy-dippy, but I really do believe some of the clay, like, it holds your life in it, right? I hope that one day somebody will stumble upon my videos, maybe not now, or maybe not even during my lifetime, right? But they might see, dang, this Pottery Demon guy, he makes pots all the time, and he filled up rooms and buildings full of pots during his life. It might not be, I don't want to get into pottery, but I want to use that same sort of approach of just like grinding it out every day, right? And hopefully I can inspire somebody, like I said, maybe not now, maybe in 1,000 years. But that's kind of the beauty of the time that we live in right now, is that our life extends past, and our words and our mannerisms can be seen from people far in the future, right? It's kind of the coolest part, I think, that doesn't get appreciated enough. And what a great opportunity for our lives to be spent kind of creating a catalog of experience and knowledge for people, so they don't have to necessarily do the whole entire experience, right? It's like the same thing, like I don't need to visit the Grand Canyon when I can see a VR thing of the Grand Canyon, right? I have other things that I want to experience that don't really have to do with the Grand Canyon, but knowing it exists and getting some idea of it, it's kind of nice, A little dystopian maybe, but I think it's kind of interesting. Anyway, we're right at the bottom, getting rid of some of this. Great, and you'll see in a second the one that ripped, and I'll show you some of the cool elements of these pots that rip here. So camera A. Camera A. Thank you. So you'll see this one, it totally ripped open, right? And I want to really highlight that twist on the inside. Maybe I'll even have it so you can see some of how it's twisting on that bottom edge there. Great. Okay. Second, we're going to take this puppy off. Let's see if I'll look at you guys' comments here. All right. Everybody loves your terms and all your emotions that you do while you're throwing your pots are like a storyline. That's a really nice compliment. When I'm throwing on the wheel, yeah, doesn't that one kind of look weird? I really like some of these moments that look a little bit different, like you wouldn't be able to see that underside of that twist, and so they're kind of like a fun moment. Even the ones that collapse, obviously not every one that collapses looks great, so there's a limitation on it, right? But there is something that's kind of revealing about when that rips open there, and you can kind of see that interior spiral. And then I have enough elements, I feel like, on the bottom that give it just enough intention, right, to make it believable, right? And obviously that's up for interpretation, but I can guarantee you out of like the 700 and something pots I've made, there's at least a couple of the fallen ones that I definitely think you could have some belief that there's a lot of intention in even some of the ones that are totally fallen, right? And so I think that's part of the battle when you're working against people who make really formulaic pots that have been, made for thousands and thousands of years. How do you go up against that machine of thousands of years? And so I think it's all about just banging your head against that brick wall until the blood from your skull starts eroding away those bricks that have been there for so long, right? That's really how I kind of think about it. And so, anyway, let's get over here. I'm going to turn this on. These are the 3 for today. I don't think I was doing for too long. 30 minutes? That's going to be like 2 more hours of editing. All right. Green on. Green on. All right, guys. So, here are the 3 for today. I think there is some cool moments. You even just saw that one totally just drop, I think, not too long ago. But it totally ripped off. And so that one I would say maybe now is not as believable as intention. There's something about it hanging up on that ridge that I kind of liked. But anyway, we'll start examining these for today. This one right here, I think this pot really had some cool elements for it. At the beginning when I first made it, it almost had this mushroom shape. I went a little bit too wide and the clay was a little bit too soft, so it couldn't support itself. It tore and it fell. There's some elements, I still feel like it's in the realm of keepable, so I'm going to keep this. I think there's some cool things that happen. Always remembering it's one song in the album, right? Over here, we got another pot. I think there's something that's cool about this top little bump out and then that straight little line on the top there. I think the twist is a little bit too thick, and I think the bottom tangles aren't really doing a whole lot for me. So not really, more of a mundane pot. And again, I have another mundane pot on the top, but I do think I like how wide it goes and it curls in really nice on the top. And so I think that that one's actually okay. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. All the best and strong mentality.
Ideas.